Did you know charter schools are public schools and they're about to be more accessible in South Carolina? Let me explain. Across South Carolina, there are over 80 charter schools. They're publicly funded, just like traditional public schools, and they are given a level of autonomy to bring an academic opportunity and excellence to the needs of communities across our state. For example, let's look at Gray Collegiate Academy in West Columbia.
For years, our state's charter schools relied on a different funding method from traditional public schools. While traditional districts received funding on a per-student basis through their sustainable funding method, charter schools were funded through an unsustainable method that struggled to keep up with the growth of students seeking these innovative charter options. Even though charter schools are not funded in a sustainable manner and receive less funding than traditional schools, charter schools still performed as well or even better than their traditional counterparts. Last year, the governor and legislature, recognizing the critical work of charter schools performing, made a big change. In the past, we relied on a limited funding source that was unique to charter schools and their students, meaning that we would receive funding in the beginning of the school year, then the funding would run out by the end of school. So every year we had to return to the State House and ask for money for the next year. But now we have a new way of keeping the resources coming without having to keep filling it up. With this new permanent funding method, charter schools and traditional schools utilize the same sustainable funding source to fund all students across the state. Charter schools now receive funding for every student that will not need to be refilled every year.
So what does that look like inside of South Carolina's charter schools? That means that even though charter schools were already doing more with less, we are now so much more closer to a level playing field to accomplish even more. This new model gives us so much more potential to set a new standard for academic achievement.
And it doesn't just give opportunities to brick and mortar schools, but virtual schools like mine and Ainsley's. We can continue to grow to offer all types of educational opportunities.
With more resources, we can provide more options that did not exist in our community before.
With more resources, we can open new schools to meet the demands of thousands of families for an educational choice.
With this new permanent funding, we can now put even more kids first. So to everyone who made this day possible by advocating for this change, and especially the legislators and to Governor McMaster, on behalf of tens of thousands of charter school students and families, we say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is only the beginning.